So Nemesis, Lila is cooking up something. It occurred to me that she is so certain that Marinette is Ladybug, right? Setting up a camera in the bathroom, akumatizing the Chop trios, so that Marinette will be upset enough to akumatize, going all the way to Shanghai to learn more about her family so that she can impersonate Uncle Wang and infiltrate her home. And we already know that she's going to akumatize Marinette a second time. And she did all this despite the fact that Tomo said, "Girl, it's not Marinette, we've got to move on." But she is so sure. And she is right. And that's terrifying. I don't know how she found out. Maybe it was that light from the end of season 5 that told her, or she just opened her eyes a little bit more. But she found out, somehow. So this makes me wonder why she didn't make a move earlier, like akumatizing herself to give herself intangible powers like she did in the London special, or just, kidnap Marinette. No big magic shebang, just regular crimes. I'm guessing that this alliance that she has with Tomo requires her to get good, solid proof of Ladybug's identity. Otherwise, Tomo won't let her raid the Dupenchang bakery. And possibly create a scandal if Marinette turned out to really just be a normal girl with a normal life. She isn't, but Tomo doesn't know that. Tomo just sees Marinette as Adrian's annoying girlfriend. But does anybody really expect Lila to keep this alliance? No! I think Lila could have either stolen Kagami's ring in Yakuza or any different time, really, since we know that she's attending their school under a different identity. So she has so many opportunities to steal and replace Kagami's ring, especially because their classes are interchangeable. So if Tomo tries to contradict her or break off their alliance, Lila can just whip out Kagami's ring and say, "Actually, you're going to do as I say, otherwise, I'ma kill your daughter." Low-key, in the right circumstances, I think Tomo would let her. I mean, I can just always kidnap Felix and steal the Peacock Miraculous, and I can just make another child. Not a sentient being where she implants something into her body, but like a sentimonster that looks like Kagami, just as otherwise people will get suspicious of Kagami's disappearance. Because Tomo, she doesn't love Kagami like a daughter, okay? She loves her like a show pony. And I bet that people who do raise show ponies actually love them more than Tomo loves Kagami. I was going to say that she loves Kagami like a stuffed animal, but at least stuffed animals get hugged. And by making a sentimonster of Kagami, she will have no free will and will just fence all day, just like Tomo wants. The whole reason why Kagami was created the way she was so that she could carry Tomo's legacy. Because once Tomo dies, she won't be able to control a sentimonster anymore. And I guess she wanted Kagami to be human enough to be likable and also bear children herself. At this point, Kagami should just get emancipated. Miss Bussier will happily provide you a lawyer. Anyway, I went off topic a little. I do have theories for Nemesis, trust, but you just got awake. Although I do not think that Lila will kill Kagami. She's her sister, allegedly. I think she would want Kagami out of the picture when she takes over the whole world and just make Kagami sleep and take her to her hideout with all the books and all. And then once she's successfully taken over the whole world or whatever, she's gonna just wake up Kagami and she's gonna be like, "Wake up, bestie, I'm your sister." I digress. I don't know where I was going with that. So anyway, her plan in Secret Protocol, it couldn't have been for nothing. Like I said in my last video, she could have set up a camera or bugs all over the Dupenchang place. She had time too, when they were waiting for the water taxi. She could have carved out a little hideout in the walls for all we know, and is currently living there. And she's going to stand at the foot of Marinette's bed pretending to be her sleep paralysis demon. And she could have seen Marinette transform into frickin' Ladybug, and at the same time found out that her parents now know she is Ladybug. If so, more leverage if she kidnaps them. So whatever she did in Secret Protocol, it has to be a setup for whatever's gonna happen in Nemesis. And Kung Fu was just all a distraction, enabling whatever allies she has to maybe make copies of Marinette's diaries or set up cameras. Whatever it is, Marinette is doomed, hero-wise. But she's not doomed entirely, though. Now that Marinette's parents know that she's Ladybug, they're going to insist that she get some therapy, because now they know that she was the one who almost died in the final battle with Monarch. She was the one who had to watch Gabriel Agreste, her boyfriend's father, sacrifice himself in order to defeat Monarch. She's the one who had a nice summer with her friends, only to be pulled back out of retirement to deal with the new butterfly villain. Though she's probably not going to tell them that Adrian's father was actually Monarch. I do think they would understand if she did tell them the truth, and that they would understand why their teenage daughter didn't make the best decisions in that very emotional time. And they would understand that what she doesn't need is more bashing, but some support and guidance. I don't exactly know how Marinette could tell this to a therapist without being extremely vague. Or maybe she could go to therapy secretly as Ladybug. Remember that therapist, Dr. Fisquat? Let's bring her in. Marinette therapy arc in Season 7, guys, trust. Anyway, another thing I wanted to talk about was Alianette. From the fight snippets we got from the trailers, something happened that made Marinette absolutely destroyed. I mentioned in another video that Alia could have found out not the truth itself, but how disastrous it would be if it got out. And in the synopsis for Nemesis, it says that Alia is getting closer to finding out what's up. I do think Alia would be mad, and she has a good reason to be mad, because Adrian is her friend too, and he deserves to know the truth. Although I don't think she would be as mad if she had time to process the truth, and she could take a breather, and then she could calmly approach Marinette about it. I also don't think she would be as mad if Marinette told her the truth herself, although from the synopsis, that's probably not what's going to happen. But I noticed the difference between how she was acting in Revelator versus in the trailer is, well...
Wow, thanks, Marinette. So this is what being BFFs is like? I'm so sorry.
So that clip suggests that Marinette did something that betrayed her trust. Not everyone's trust with the lie about Gabriel and all, but specifically Alia's trust. So it got me thinking, what else was newly established this season that hasn't been brought up again lately and would be weird to ignore it for any longer? Miraculous Cat Noir. Now, for the first and only time he used it so far was because he thought that Reina Rouge found out Ladybug's secret identity, and Reina Rouge even wanted the truth to get erased from her mind, to give Marinette the chance to tell it on her own. So right now, Marinette isn't in the best spot. Not in the right state of mind. She wasn't for a while, but especially now that it's been stewing all season. Despite this, she still seems adamant to keep the truth hidden. If she feels Alia getting closer to her secrets, she could get desperate, and knowing that Alia will find out the truth one way or another because Alia is a reporter, she knows how to do this stuff. The only way to get her off her trail is to erase her memory again. But this time, along with the memory of Ladybug's identity. There would obviously be some pretty huge gaps, like, okay, so I have the Fox Miraculous, but I don't recall the exact time I got entrusted to it permanently, and other stuff, but I don't think Alia's memory will get erased. And before I go any further, I know that her parents know her identity now too, but they aren't the ones getting closer to the truth. So here's how I think it could go. Marinette feels Alia getting closer to her secrets. Scared, as Ladybug, she tells Cat Noir that Reina Rouge knows her identity and asks him to perform a miraculous Cat Noir on her. And she can even be vague about this. Like, Reina Rouge knows my identity, and Cat Noir can assume that means Reina Rouge found out my identity. But Cat Noir, having performed it on the same person before, he would have some questions, naturally. And he does know that Reina Rouge is Alia, so I feel like if she found out a second time, he would be like, you know, Alia's probably going to find out one way or another someday, and I don't want to keep erasing her memories. And so before he performs the miraculous Cat Noir, he would confront them both about it. It wouldn't hurt because Reina Rouge would forget about it anyway, and he would want Reina to consent to it first, of course, because it's her memory. But then, Reina Rouge will find out that Ladybug was planning to erase her memory without her knowledge. And so they don't go through with it. And that's what leads to the Alia-Net fight later on. And the line,
"You don't get to decide for other people what's good for them,"
wasn't about Adrian, it was about Alia herself. Because Marinette's reasoning behind this could be, oh, I think it would have been better if you didn't know the truth and if you didn't know that I was Ladybug. And Alia has every right to be mad because that is her best friend going behind her back. If Marinette maybe asked Alia, hey, I think it's too dangerous that you know my secret identity. I think that we should wipe it. Alia would be more understanding. But no, if Marinette did this without her knowledge, or was planning to do it without her knowledge, Alia has a right to be mad. And this is what leads to Marinette turning into Nemesis, because she's sad and mad and feeling all the feels. I'm not sure if they're going to make up after this fight, at least not right away, like getting back to ride or die best friends. But maybe they will. Maybe that's what's going to happen over the course of season 7, like a slow build up to her friendship. Although in this frame here, Alia doesn't look as mad, but more worried. But that's because they're doing hero work, and they gotta keep it professional. Speaking of Nemesis, everyone is cooked. Don't get me wrong, the heroes can hold up on their own without Ladybug. They've proven that. And if this was anybody else who got akumatized, they'd be fine. But this is Marinette. Experienced, pent-up rage, traumatized, partially masked situational depression, manipulated beyond the grave Marinette. And if this really is a half-formed plan to learn more about Chrysalis, she isn't going to be holding back on the people who could threaten her plan. And Chrysalis gave her a sword. So anybody fighting her is double fucked. It was mentioned before that the others couldn't interfere with the Akuma attack unless Ladybug called on them, but I feel like they would still respond if Cap Noir did. After all, Pegasus came when Miss Hound called him. But Ladybug wouldn't want anyone to respond, because again, if this was a plan to infiltrate the butterfly villain, then she wouldn't want anyone to interfere. Though Cap Noir does arrive at the scene, but it is seen that she takes care of him. But that's more of my thoughts, and let me know y'all's. I want a Rooster Bolt transformation. All of the heroes in Petal Team were supposed to get one this season, right? So where's Rooster Bolt? Stop gatekeeping my king! Anyway, bye.